Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Tavern of Tales. If you liked my stories until now, then I think you'd like this one. This one is a bit different. It's about a group of young adults who had a life-changing experience. This group experienced a heist. Well, I don't know about you, but I love a good heist. Well, anyway, let me know what you think.
Meet the crew. The neighborhood wasn't very big, but for 7 young adults growing up there, it felt like an entire world. They had known each other for years, seeing each other almost every day while growing up on the same streets. Some were closer than others, but all 7 shared one thing in common. They felt stuck. Tristan is 18 years old. Tristan was known for being easygoing and funny. With his long hair tied into a man-bun ponytail and faded sides, he was hard to miss. He worked at the local movie theater as a concessions worker, selling popcorn, drinks, and snacks to customers every day. Despite his positive attitude, Tristan hated how little the job paid. Most of his paycheck disappeared as quickly as he earned it. Deep down, he dreamed of finding something bigger than cleaning theaters and serving popcorn. Jaden is 19. Jaden worked as the security manager at a nearby oil refinery. His French braids, calm personality, and natural leadership made people respect him. Unlike most people his age, Jaden owned a nice house with a swimming pool. From the outside, it looked like he had everything figured out. But behind the success, Jaden constantly worried about money, maintenance costs, and whether his life was really heading anywhere meaningful. He often found himself wondering if there was more to life than simply working every day. Aaron is also 19. Aaron worked at Munchie's Pizza as a pizza maker. Smart, sarcastic, and always cracking jokes, Aaron was the group's voice of reason. Long shifts in a hot kitchen and impatient customers made him question how long he could keep doing the job. While he enjoyed hanging out with co-workers, he often dreamed of finding a career that challenged him more than making pizzas every day. Brent Collins is 18. Brent worked at the local bookstore as a sales associate. He had a low-fade haircut with waves, bright blue eyes, and a laid-back personality. Brent enjoyed being surrounded by books and learning new things, but spending every day stocking shelves and helping customers find novels wasn't exactly the future he imagined for himself. Like everyone else, he dreamed of something bigger. Celine is 19. Celine was the fiery redhead of the group. She worked at Baker's and never hesitated to speak her mind. Strong-willed and confident, Celine was often the first person to call out nonsense when she saw it. While she worked hard, she couldn't stand dealing with demanding customers every day. Veronica is 19. Veronica operated her nail business from home. Calm, creative, and a perfectionist, she spent most of her days working with clients and creating custom nail designs. Although she enjoyed the freedom of working for herself, she sometimes felt isolated and wondered if she was missing out on bigger opportunities. Candace is 17. Candace was the youngest member of the group and the younger sister of Tristan. She worked part-time as a fill-in receptionist at the local hospital whenever extra help was needed. Friendly, outgoing, and optimistic, Candace was often the person who noticed when something was bothering someone else. Unlike the others, she still had hope that life would eventually work itself out. Because she was only 17, she was usually the only one at gatherings who wasn't drinking. Still, her maturity often made her seem older than everyone else. Together, these 7 friends spent years talking about their dreams, frustrations, and plans for the future. None of them realized that one simple party at Jaden's house would become the first step toward changing all of their lives forever. The sun had long disappeared behind the neighborhood rooftops when Jaden stood on his back patio overlooking his swimming pool. String lights hung across the yard, casting a warm glow over the water. Music played softly through outdoor speakers, while cool evening air drifted through the neighborhood. Just a few days earlier, Jaden had been promoted to security manager at the oil refinery where he worked. At 19 years old, it was a huge accomplishment. To celebrate, he had invited everyone he grew up with. One by one, they arrived. Tristan showed up first, wearing a black hoodie after getting off work from the movie theater. Aaron arrived next, carrying a bag of chips from the bookstore down the street. Brent came straight from Munchie's Pizza with several large pizzas balanced in his arms. Celine pulled up shortly after, followed by Veronica. Finally, Candace arrived wearing a white dress, her braided hair hanging over her shoulders. The group gathered around the patio table near the pool. "About time everyone got here," Jaden laughed. The night quickly turned into what most nights with friends usually became: food, drinks, jokes, and endless conversations. As everyone settled into their chairs, the topic shifted toward work. Tristan shook his head. "I swear I'm getting tired of that movie theater." Aaron laughed. "Already? Dude, they barely pay anything. Half the customers leave giant messes and the managers act like they're paying us $1 million. Everyone laughed. Brent pointed at him. "At least you don't have customers yelling because their pizza took 5 extra minutes." Celine rolled her eyes. "People at Baker's act like buying bread is a life or death situation." Veronica nodded. "I've got clients texting me at midnight asking if I can do emergency nail appointments." Aaron leaned back in his chair. "Try working at Barnes & Noble. People ask where books are while standing directly in front of them." The table erupted into laughter. Everyone seemed to have something they hated about their jobs. Everyone except Jaden. He sat quietly staring at the pool. Candace noticed first. She leaned forward. "Jaden, what's wrong?" Jaden blinked. "What? You've barely said anything all night." "Oh." He forced a smile. "It's nothing." Candace studied him for a moment. Something about his answer felt wrong, but she didn't push. The conversation continued. Tristan sighed. "Honestly, I want out of the theater." Aaron nodded. "I think all of us want something more." Brent raised his drink. "No kidding." Everyone agreed. For a moment they sat there imagining bigger lives, bigger jobs, more money, more freedom, more purpose. Then someone cracked a joke. Everyone burst out laughing. The serious moment disappeared as quickly as it had arrived. The drinks kept flowing. Everyone drank except Candace, who was still underage. Hours passed. The music played. The pizzas disappeared. The conversations bounced from work to relationships to embarrassing childhood stories. Eventually, the clock crept toward midnight. One by one, everyone began heading home. Veronica left first, then Celine, Brent, Candace. Aaron stayed behind. So did Tristan. The 3 guys helped Jaden pick up cups, throw away trash, and stack chairs. When everything was finally clean, Aaron stretched. "All right, I'm out." He pointed toward Jaden and Tristan. "Try not to solve all the world's problems without me." Tristan laughed. "No promises." Aaron waved and headed down the sidewalk. The neighborhood grew quiet. Only the sound of crickets remained. Jaden and Tristan sat in lawn chairs beside the pool. For several minutes, neither said anything. The blue pool lights reflected across the water. Finally, Tristan spoke. "So?" Jaden looked over. "So? What's bothering you?" Jaden sighed. He stared at the water, then quietly asked, "You ever wonder if life could be more than this?" Tristan raised an eyebrow. "What do you mean?" "I don't know." Jaden shrugged. "Just feels like there has to be something bigger." Tristan laughed. "Bro, why does that bother you?" Jaden looked at him. "You've got a good-paying job." Jaden remained silent. "A dope house." Silence. "A swimming pool." Still nothing. Tristan frowned. "What?" Jaden leaned forward. "You know how expensive all this is?" Tristan blinked. Jaden continued. "I still struggle to keep everything maintained." He looked toward the house. "My savings keeps getting lower." Tristan stared at him for a second, then burst out laughing. "You have savings?" Jaden smirked. "Shut up." "I'm serious." Tristan pointed at himself. "I don't even have savings." That finally got Jaden laughing. The tension eased. The two friends sat there a little longer, talking about random things. Eventually, Tristan stood. "Well, I gotta head home." Jaden stood with him. The two exchanged a fist bump. "See you tomorrow." Later. Tristan walked down the driveway and disappeared into the darkness. Jaden watched him go, then headed inside. The house felt strangely empty. He grabbed a drink from the kitchen and dropped onto the couch in the living room. The television was still on. A show had started while everyone was outside. Jaden glanced at the screen. A group of masked thieves were storming a heavily guarded bank. Police sirens blared. Security systems failed. Millions of dollars were being stolen. Jaden watched for a moment, then another, then another. Something about the plan fascinated him. The precision, the teamwork, the risk, the reward. A small smile formed on his face. Outside, the neighborhood slept peacefully. Inside, Jaden sat quietly watching the screen. And for the first time all night, his mind wouldn't stop racing. A week passed. The party became just another memory. Everyone went back to work, back to schedules, back to responsibilities, back to the same routines they complained about around Jaden's pool. But for some reason, the conversation never completely left their minds. The morning sun reflected off the steel structures of the oil refinery as Jaden Carter stood near the front security checkpoint. Workers came and went. Trucks entered. Trucks left. Everything was normal. Then an armored truck rolled through the gate. Jaden stepped outside. The truck stopped. One of the armored guards climbed out carrying a clipboard. "Morning." "Morning," Jaden replied. The guard signed in before another employee exited the back of the truck and headed toward the administration building. Several minutes later, he returned carrying a large black security bag. The two guards loaded it into the truck. Jaden nodded. "Have a good one." "You too." The armored truck slowly pulled away. Jaden watched it disappear beyond the refinery gates. Then his eyes drifted toward the administration building, toward the vault. The building sat quietly in the distance. Steel doors, security cameras, restricted access, protected, secure. His gaze lingered longer than it should have. For a moment, he imagined what it would take to get inside. How many cameras? How many guards? What security systems protected it? His mind drifted. Then, "Jaden!" A voice snapped him back to reality. Jaden blinked. One of the truck coordinators was waving at him. "We need help logging in a shipment." Jaden immediately looked away from the building. "Yeah." He adjusted his radio. "Coming." Without another glance at the vault, Jaden turned around and headed back toward the checkpoint. Yet the image stayed in his mind. Across town, Tristan was having a much worse day. The movie theater was packed. Lines stretched across the lobby. Kids screamed. Popcorn covered the floor, and the popcorn machine wasn't keeping up, which meant customers were getting impatient, which meant Tristan was getting annoyed. A short elderly woman stood at the front counter tapping her foot. "I've been waiting 10 minutes. Tristan forced a smile. "We're making a fresh batch right now, ma'am." "Well, it's taking forever." "It'll be ready in a minute." "You said that 5 minutes ago." Tristan clenched his jaw. The smile on his face barely survived. "Yes, ma'am." The woman crossed her arms. "This is ridiculous." Behind her, more customers began complaining. Tristan could feel his patience evaporating. Then his manager stepped in. "Hey, I'll help handle the line." Tristan nodded. "Thanks." The manager immediately started assisting customers while Tristan refilled drink stations and worked the registers. For another 20 minutes, they fought through the rush together. Eventually, things slowed down. Tristan looked toward the back hallway. "I'm taking 5. His manager nodded. "Go." A moment alone. Tristan stepped into the employee bathroom and locked the door behind him. Silence. Finally, he leaned against the sink, closed his eyes, and exhaled. The old woman's complaints replayed in his head. The endless customers, the low pay, the late hours, the same routine, every day. Then he remembered something. Jaden sitting beside the pool. You ever wonder if life could be more than this? At the time, it sounded ridiculous. Jaden had money, a house, a pool, a management position. Yet somehow, Tristan understood exactly what he meant now. Because standing in that bathroom, he felt it too. Like he was running in circles. Like every day was exactly the same. Like he was meant for something bigger, something different. He stared at his reflection. What am I even doing? The question hung in the room, but no answer came. Back to work. Tristan sighed, unlocked the bathroom door, and headed back toward the concession stand. The moment he stepped into the lobby, reality hit him again. The smell of popcorn, the noise, the customers, the lines, the complaints, the job. A customer immediately waved him down. "Excuse me." Tristan forced himself forward, but his expression wasn't hiding his frustration anymore. His face was hard, annoyed, tired, angry. The same thought kept echoing through his head. There has to be more than this, and somewhere across town. Jaden was beginning to think the exact same thing. A few days later, life continued exactly the way everyone expected. The alarms rang, the shift started, the bills piled up, and nobody felt any closer to finding whatever it was they were searching for. Aaron Walker spent most of his afternoon stocking shelves at the bookstore. It was one of the slower days, and for once things seemed peaceful. That peace didn't last long. From across the store, Aaron heard shouting. He looked up to see two women standing in the fiction section arguing over the last copy of a popular novel. "I had it first." "No, you didn't." One woman suddenly snatched the book from the other's hands. Aaron sighed and pushed his cart aside. Of course. He walked over and held up his hands. "All right, let's calm down." Both women immediately started talking over each other. Aaron pointed toward the book. "It's just a book. We can order another copy." The first woman folded her arms. "Tell her that." The second woman looked furious. "She stole it from me." Aaron spent several minutes trying to reason with them, but one of the women only became angrier. Finally, Aaron rubbed his forehead. "Ma'am, if you can't calm down, I'm going to have to ask you to leave." The woman exploded. Books flew off shelves. Displays crashed to the floor. One entire section Aaron had just spent nearly an hour organizing was destroyed. Aaron stared at the mess. Something inside him snapped. "Are you serious right now?" The woman continued screaming. Aaron looked at the books, then at her, then back at the books. "Dumb bitch." The entire bookstore went silent. The woman's mouth dropped open. "What did you just call me?" Aaron immediately regretted saying it. I want your manager." A few moments later, Aaron found himself sitting in the back room while his manager handled the situation. Through the door, he could hear yelling, then more yelling, then his manager threatening to call the police. A minute later, the front door slammed shut. The woman was finally gone. Aaron's manager opened the break room door. "You cool now?" Aaron nodded. "Yeah." His manager pointed at him. "Don't call customers' names." Aaron smirked. "No promises." The manager rolled his eyes. "I'm serious." Aaron laughed and eventually returned to work, but the rest of his shift felt longer than usual. By nightfall, Brent Collins was beginning his delivery route. His old Saturn rolled through quiet neighborhoods while stacks of pizza boxes sat beside him. The night seemed normal, until something strange caught his attention. As he stopped at an intersection, he noticed movement near a row of houses. A figure dressed entirely in black sprinted through the shadows. Black hoodie, black pants, black gloves, a black backpack, and a black mask covering most of the face. The figure darted across a yard before disappearing between two houses. Brent blinked. "What the hell?" The figure vanished. Brent laughed. "Well, that's not something you see every day." The light changed and he continued driving. His next stop wasn't much better. The customer grabbed the pizzas and didn't leave a single dollar tip, not even a thank you. Brent walked back toward his Saturn, shaking his head. "Cheap ass." His next delivery somehow managed to be worse. A man wearing green pajamas opened the door before Brent could even knock. The guy already looked annoyed. "You're late." Brent checked the receipt. The order wasn't late, not even close. "Actually," the man snatched the pizza boxes. "This is ridiculous." Slam. The door closed. Brent stared at it, then looked down. One pizza remained in his hands. The customer had forgotten part of the order. Brent slowly smiled. Oh well. Before he could think twice, he threw the pizza. Thud. The box exploded against the front door. Sauce splattered everywhere. Pepperoni slid down the window. Brent immediately turned around. Nope. He hurried back to his Saturn and drove away before anyone answered the door. Several streets later, his laughter faded, because he saw the guy in black again. This time, the mysterious figure was much closer. The person sprinted across someone's front yard, then vaulted over a fence and disappeared into a backyard. Brent slowed his car. Okay. Now it was weird. The guy definitely wasn't jogging, and he definitely wasn't walking a dog. Brent stared at the fence. Nothing happened. No alarms, no screams, no lights turning on, just silence. He slowly put the Saturn back into drive. Yeah. Brent shook his head. I'm not getting involved in whatever that is. The Saturn rolled away into the night. Behind him, the dark backyard remained quiet. But hidden beyond the fence, the mysterious figure continued moving through the shadows, completely unnoticed, and for reasons none of them understood yet. Jaden, Tristan, Aaron, and Brent were all slowly moving toward the same story. The following afternoon, Veronica stopped by the grocery store after finishing with one of her nail clients. She grabbed a shopping cart and headed inside. Almost immediately, she noticed a crowd gathered near the front entrance. People were standing around talking. Several were staring at a newspaper display. Curious, Veronica walked over. An older man wearing suspenders shook his head. They're calling him the Midnight Bandit now. A woman beside him frowned. Sounds like something out of a movie. Veronica stepped closer. What's going on? The older man looked up. You haven't heard? Veronica shook her head. The man pointed toward the newspaper. The police think somebody's been sneaking into houses at night. Breaking in? Yep. He folded his arms. Stealing jewelry, cash, electronics. Another person chimed in. But he's only hitting the rich neighborhoods. The old man nodded. That's what makes it weird. Veronica looked down at the newspaper. A grainy security camera image showed a dark figure dressed entirely in black. Backpack, mask, hood. The headline read, Midnight Bandit Strikes Again. Veronica raised an eyebrow. The whole thing sounded ridiculous, yet people looked genuinely worried. After a few more minutes, she grabbed her groceries and continued shopping. Later that evening, Veronica stopped by Celine's house. The front door was unlocked. She stepped inside. Celine? In here. Veronica followed the voice into the living room. The moment she walked in, she noticed something was wrong. Celine sat on the couch staring at the floor. Her expression looked exhausted. Veronica set the grocery bags down. What's wrong? Celine sighed. Everything. Veronica sat beside her. That bad? Celine laughed bitterly. You know how many hours I've been getting lately? Veronica shook her head. Not enough. Celine leaned back. I'm behind on bills. She rubbed her face. My car needs repairs. And Baker's keeps cutting hours. Veronica remained quiet. Then she mentioned the newspaper story. You hear about this Midnight Bandit thing? Celine snorted. Yeah. Veronica expected her to laugh. Instead, Celine stared at the ceiling. Honestly? What? Celine shrugged. Whoever it is. She smirked. Maybe I should take a page out of his book. Veronica immediately rolled her eyes. Don't be stupid. I'm kidding. Mostly. That answer didn't make Veronica feel much better. She stood up. Come to my place tomorrow. Celine looked confused. Why? Free nails. Celine laughed. I'm broke, remember? Exactly. Veronica grabbed her purse. Free. Celine smiled for the first time all evening. And we're talking. About what? Everything. Celine nodded. Deal. Across town, Candace was working her evening shift as a fill-in receptionist at Riverdale Hospital. The waiting room television quietly played the local news. Candace glanced up from her computer. The reporter appeared on screen. Authorities continue searching for the suspect being referred to as the Midnight Bandit. A picture of the masked figure appeared. Candace frowned. Everybody was talking about this guy now. Before she could hear more, someone yelled from across the lobby. Hey! Candace looked up. A middle-aged man stood at the counter, already angry. What? The man stomped forward. I need my medication refilled. Candace immediately recognized him. This wasn't the first time he'd caused problems. Did you fill out a refill request? No. Then I can't help you. The man's face turned red. I've been coming here for years. Candace shrugged. Cool. The man pointed aggressively. I need my medication. Candace pointed toward the forms. And I need paperwork. The man yelled louder. I want a manager. Candace leaned back in her chair. If you keep yelling for a manager. She crossed her arms. I'll yell for the police. The waiting room went silent. The man's jaw tightened. For a second, Candace thought he might actually explode. Instead, he pointed at her. I'll be back. Candace smiled. Can't wait. The man stormed away. Once he was gone, Candace shook her head. People are ridiculous. Then she returned to work. At almost the exact same time, Brent was back at Munchie's Pizza. The television mounted in the corner of the restaurant replayed the same story. The Midnight Bandit. Again. Brent looked up while preparing a pepperoni pizza. The reporter appeared on screen. Police believe the suspect may be responsible for multiple burglaries. Brent laughed. Wow. A coworker looked over. What? They already gave him a name. The Midnight Bandit. Brent shook his head. Seriously? The coworker laughed. Sounds kinda cool. Brent tossed cheese onto the pizza. Sounds stupid. Yet for some reason, the image of the guy dressed in black kept replaying in his mind. Because unlike everyone else watching the news, Brent had actually seen him. Twice. That night the neighborhood fell silent. Streetlights illuminated empty roads. Televisions shut off. Porch lights dimmed. Families went to sleep. Everything was peaceful. Except for one thing. A bedroom window slowly slid open. A dark figure climbed outside. Black hoodie, black mask, black backpack. The Midnight Bandit landed softly in the grass. He looked around. Nobody was watching. Nobody was awake. Then he started running. The backpack bounced against his shoulders as he disappeared into the darkness. Inside the bag were watches, cash, jewelry, and several other stolen valuables. The Midnight Bandit vanished down the street, completely unseen. Or so he thought, because from a second-story window across the neighborhood, someone had just watched the entire thing happen. And for the first time, the Midnight Bandit had made a mistake. A few days later, life continued as usual, at least on the surface. The Midnight Bandit remained the biggest story in town. Every news station talked about him. Every newspaper mentioned him. Every neighborhood social media page seemed obsessed with him. But for Tristan Thompson, none of that mattered at the moment. Right now, he was focused on something much more important: bench pressing. The gym was packed with people finishing their evening workouts. Music echoed through the building. Weights clanged against metal racks. Sweat covered Tristan's forehead as he pushed the bar upward. One more, his spotter encouraged him. Tristan gritted his teeth. The bar slowly rose, then locked into place. He sat up, breathing heavily. Damn. The spotter laughed. You trying to kill yourself? Tristan grabbed his water bottle. Nah. He wiped sweat from his face. Just trying not to stay skinny forever. The two laughed. A few minutes later, Tristan finished his workout and headed home. The small house was quiet when he stepped through the front door. He immediately spotted Candace in the living room. She was stretching on a yoga mat, one leg extended, arms reaching forward. Tristan raised an eyebrow. "Look at you." Candace smirked. "What? You trying to become a yoga instructor now?" Candace rolled her eyes. "Shut up." Tristan laughed and tossed his gym bag onto the couch. Candace sat up. "You hear about the Midnight Bandit?" Tristan groaned. "Not this again." "It's everywhere." "I know." Candace leaned back. "What do you think?" Tristan shrugged. "I think we shouldn't worry." Candace looked confused. "Why?" Tristan pointed around the room. "Because if he's targeting rich people..." He laughed. "He definitely isn't coming here." Candace couldn't help laughing. "Fair point." Tristan sat down. "We barely have money after bills and rent." Candace sighed. "Tell me about it." She stared toward the ceiling. "It's been rough ever since we moved out of Mom and Dad's house." Tristan nodded. "Yeah." Candace glanced at him. "What are you gonna do?" Tristan rubbed the back of his neck. "Honestly?" "What?" "I'm probably gonna call Dad." Candace immediately started laughing. "For what?" "A loan." Candace pointed at him. "Another one?" Tristan laughed. "Yes." "I'm running low on funds." Candace shook her head. "Same." She smirked. "If Dad helps you, then I'm asking too." Tristan laughed. "You'll probably ask Mom." Candace nodded. "Maybe." Tristan smirked. "You know Mom's just gonna say..." Both of them spoke at the same time. "Ask your father." The siblings burst out laughing. After a moment, Candace smiled. "You know." "What?" "You didn't have to move out." Tristan leaned back. "Neither did you." Candace shrugged. "Fair." Tristan stared down the hallway. "I just wanted to know what it felt like." "What?" "Being on my own." Candace nodded. "I get that." Tristan smiled. "If things get bad enough, I'll move back." Candace laughed. "I'm staying out." Tristan smirked. "Of course you are. I like being independent." "Me too." For a moment they sat quietly. Then Tristan stood. "Well?" Candace looked up. "I gotta get ready for work." Candace nodded. "Oh." "What?" "I let the dogs inside." Tristan groaned. "Great." "You're welcome." He pointed at her. "If they chewed my shoes again." "They didn't." "I don't believe you." Candace laughed as Tristan headed down the hallway. A few minutes later he emerged wearing his theater uniform, man bun tied back, faded sides freshly cleaned up, ready for another shift. "Later." Candace waved. "Have fun selling popcorn." "Don't ruin my night." The front door closed behind him. Across town, Aaron Walker was stocking bookshelves at the bookstore. The television mounted above the customer service desk played the evening news. Again, the Midnight Bandit. Aaron glanced up. The same masked photo appeared on screen. The same reporter. The same story. Aaron sighed. "Wow." A coworker looked over. "What?" "This guy again." The coworker laughed. Aaron shrugged. "Honestly?" "What?" "I hope they never catch him." The coworker stared. "Dude." Aaron smirked. "What?" "That's messed up." Aaron continued shelving books. "Rich people don't do anything productive anyway." The coworker laughed. "You're gonna get fired one day." Aaron ignored him. He headed toward the front of the store. Several customers entered through the automatic doors. Aaron stopped, looked at them, took a deep breath. "Here we go." The coworker laughed from across the store. The bell above the entrance jingled. Aaron looked up and immediately recognized the customer, Brent Collins. Brent walked inside wearing his Munchies pizza uniform. Aaron pointed. "What do you need?" Brent laughed. Nice to see you too. Aaron smirked. You buying something or bothering me? Brent leaned against a bookshelf. I've been getting a kick out of this Midnight Bandit stuff. Aaron laughed. Everyone has. Brent nodded. I actually saw him once. Aaron immediately started laughing. No, you didn't. I did. Sure. Brent crossed his arms. I'm serious. Aaron shook his head. Okay. Brent pointed. I am. Aaron grinned. Then why didn't you tell anybody? Brent thought about it. Good question. Aaron laughed harder. Exactly. Brent rolled his eyes. Whatever. Aaron looked toward the television. The masked figure appeared again. The reporter continued talking. Aaron shrugged. Well? What? Whoever he is. Aaron smirked. He's giving this town something to talk about. Brent laughed. That part is true. Neither of them noticed the customer quietly browsing nearby, a customer who seemed unusually interested in their conversation, and who just happened to be wearing a black hoodie. Aaron kept watching the front door long after Michael disappeared. Brent finally nudged him. Dude. What? He's gone. Aaron crossed his arms. I know. So? Aaron glanced toward the door. Something about that kid feels weird. Brent laughed. Because he wears a hoodie? No. Because he likes mystery books? Aaron pointed at him. Exactly. Brent rolled his eyes. That's not evidence. Aaron wasn't convinced. Earlier that afternoon, they had both nearly jumped when they saw the figure in the black hoodie wandering through the bookstore. The exact kind of hoodie every news report showed. The exact kind of hoodie every witness described. For a few seconds, both Aaron and Brent genuinely thought the Midnight Bandit had walked right into the store. Then the guy approached the counter. Without saying a word, he pulled back his hood. Aaron and Brent immediately felt stupid. Standing before them was a teenage boy. Red hair, army haircut, bright blue eyes, freckles, completely normal. The kid smiled. Hey. Aaron blinked. The kid pointed toward a book. Can I check this out? Aaron grabbed it. His eyebrows immediately rose. The title was about famous thieves and unsolved mysteries. Brent noticed too. The two exchanged a glance. The kid smiled. My name's Michael. Aaron nodded slowly. Nice to meet you. Michael leaned on the counter. I just moved here. Recently? Last week. Brent immediately became suspicious. Last week, the Midnight Bandit had started appearing only a few weeks ago. Coincidence? Maybe. Maybe not. Michael continued talking. I love reading. Aaron scanned the book. Yeah, we noticed. Michael laughed. Any good places to hang out around here? Brent pointed toward the movie theater. Aaron mentioned the park. They listed a few local spots. Michael thanked them and headed out. The bell above the door jingled. Then he was gone. Aaron stared through the front window. Brent folded his arms. You think he's the bandit? Aaron nodded. Yep. Brent laughed. Based on what? He just moved here. That's not a crime. He's reading books about thieves. Brent sighed. Still not a crime. Aaron leaned forward. He was wearing the exact hoodie. Brent rubbed his forehead. Half the town owns black hoodies. Aaron grinned. So you're saying there's a chance? Brent groaned. You watch too many detective shows. An hour later, they were following Michael down the sidewalk. Brent couldn't believe he agreed to this. This is stupid. Aaron kept walking. Maybe. So why are we doing it? Aaron smirked. Because you're curious too. Brent hated that Aaron was right. The two followed from a distance. Michael never noticed. Eventually, he turned onto a quiet residential street. He walked up the driveway of a house at the very end of the block, then disappeared inside. Aaron nodded. Got it. Brent looked confused. Got what? His house. Brent stared. Okay. Aaron smiled. Now we watch. That night they sat on the second-floor balcony of Brent's apartment complex. The complex happened to overlook Michael's street. A perfect view. Aaron held binoculars. Brent held snacks. Hours passed. Nothing happened. No suspicious activity. No masked figure. No midnight bandit. Just silence. Brent yawned. Told you. Aaron kept staring. Patience. Another hour passed, then another. Eventually both of them drifted asleep in their lawn chairs. Several hours later, Brent suddenly jerked awake. Huh? Aaron was snoring beside him. Brent looked toward Michael's house, then froze. Aaron. No response. Aaron! Aaron jumped. What? Brent pointed. Aaron looked. Both of them immediately sat upright. Michael's bedroom window was open, wide open, and standing beneath it was Michael, dressed completely in black. Black hoodie, black pants, black backpack, the exact outfit shown on the news. Neither Aaron nor Brent spoke. They watched as Michael quietly climbed down, looked both ways, then started walking down the street. Aaron slowly lowered the binoculars. Brent swallowed hard. Neither of them were laughing anymore. Aaron stared. Told you. Michael disappeared into the darkness, and without saying another word, Aaron and Brent grabbed the binoculars and headed downstairs after him. Aaron and Brent quietly followed Michael down the street. The neighborhood was nearly silent. Only the occasional streetlight and distant barking dog broke the darkness. Michael kept walking with his hood up and his backpack on. Aaron whispered, "See? This is exactly what I'm talking about." Brent rolled his eyes. "He's literally just walking." Aaron pointed. "At midnight." Michael suddenly slowed down. Aaron and Brent immediately froze. Michael slightly turned his head and glanced over his shoulder. His eyes narrowed. Aaron grabbed Brent's arm. "Dive." The two of them launched themselves into a nearby bush. Branches snapped. Leaves flew everywhere. Brent groaned. "I hate you." Michael stared for a few seconds, then continued walking. Aaron slowly peeked out. "I think we're good." The two crawled out of the bushes. As they stood up, they looked across the street. Michael was already halfway across the road. "Come on," Aaron whispered. They hurried after him. Michael kept walking, but now he knew. Someone was following him. He listened carefully. Footsteps, whispers, movement behind him. He stopped, turned around, and immediately spotted Aaron and Brent trying to act normal. Michael pointed. "You!" Aaron froze. Brent froze. Michael's eyes widened. Then he turned around and started running. "Aw, crap!" Aaron yelled. "Get back here!" Brent shouted. Michael sprinted down the sidewalk. Aaron and Brent chased after him. The chase led straight into the park. Michael jumped over a bench. Aaron nearly tripped over it. Brent ran around it. The sprinklers suddenly activated. Water sprayed everywhere. Michael's shoes hit the wet grass. His foot slipped. Wah! He lost his balance. His arms flailed wildly. Then, thud. He crashed face first into the grass. Aaron and Brent caught up seconds later. The two tackled him before he could get back up. "Get off of me!" Michael yelled. "Stop running!" Aaron yelled back. "Why are you chasing me?" Michael screamed. The sprinklers soaked all three of them. Finally, Aaron and Brent helped Michael back to his feet. Michael was furious. His hoodie was soaked. His book had fallen into the grass. Aaron pointed at him. "Are you the Midnight Bandit?" Michael's eyes widened. "What?" "The Midnight Bandit." Michael looked completely shocked. "No!" Brent crossed his arms. "We don't believe you." Michael threw his hands in the air. "I'm not the Midnight Bandit." Aaron pointed at his clothes. "Then why are you wearing the exact same thing as him?" Michael groaned. "It's not a crime to wear a hoodie." Brent stepped forward. "Then why did you check out that creepy book about thieves?" Michael stared. "What?" "The mystery book." Michael blinked. "You mean the mystery novel?" "Yes." Michael looked offended. "I love mystery novels." Aaron wasn't convinced. Brent wasn't convinced either. Aaron continued. And why were you sneaking out your window at the exact time the midnight bandit usually strikes? Michael threw his hands up. Because my parents won't let me go out at night. Aaron blinked. Brent blinked. Michael continued. So I snuck out. To do what? Aaron asked. Michael pointed down the street. To go see a movie. Aaron frowned. What movie? Michael looked embarrassed. Reaper. Brent stared. The horror movie. Michael nodded. Yes. My parents won't let me watch it. So I snuck out. A long silence followed. Aaron slowly lowered his finger. Brent slowly lowered his arms. Both suddenly felt stupid. Aaron rubbed the back of his neck. Oh. Brent looked away. Yeah. Michael glared at them. You tackled me. Aaron nodded. Sorry. Brent nodded. Really sorry. Michael crossed his arms. You guys are jerks. Aaron couldn't argue. Brent couldn't either. Then Michael sighed. Besides. Aaron looked up. Michael shrugged. I'm actually a fan of the Midnight Bandit. Aaron and Brent stared. What? Michael nodded. I think he's cool. Brent immediately got annoyed again. You're kidding. Michael pointed at his hoodie. That's why I dress like him. Brent groaned. So you're a copycat. Michael rolled his eyes. Whatever. He picked up his soaked mystery book from the grass. The pages dripped water. My book. He looked heartbroken. Suddenly, crash. All three froze. A loud noise echoed from nearby. Aaron turned. Brent turned. Michael turned. Across the street, a dark figure burst out from between two houses. Black hoodie, black mask, black backpack. Running at full speed. The real Midnight Bandit. Michael's jaw dropped. Aaron pointed. That's him! Brent's eyes widened. No way! The bandit glanced toward them, then immediately started running. Aaron took off first. Brent followed. Michael followed. Get him! Aaron shouted. The three sprinted down the street. The bandit moved incredibly fast. Way faster than Michael had. Way faster than any normal person should. Aaron struggled to keep up. Brent was breathing heavily. Michael almost slipped again. The bandit cut through an alley. Then another. Then another. Every time they thought they were getting closer. He pulled farther ahead. Finally, he disappeared into the darkness. Gone. Several blocks away, the Midnight Bandit finally stopped. He leaned against a fence, breathing heavily, listening. Nothing. No footsteps. No voices. No pursuit. He had lost them. Slowly, he lifted the bottom of his mask, just enough to breathe easier. The darkness hid his face. Only his mouth was visible. A grin slowly spread across it. A confident grin, almost amused, as if the chase had been fun, as if he knew they never had a chance. The Midnight Bandit lowered his mask, looked down the empty street, then disappeared back into the darkness, still smiling. Aaron collapsed onto Brent's couch, still breathing hard from the chase. I can't believe that actually happened, Aaron said. Brent laughed and ran a hand through his buzz cut. Forget the Midnight Bandit. I still can't believe we tackled Michael. Michael sat in a chair holding his soaked mystery novel and stared at them. You two are lucky I didn't call the cops. Aaron pointed at him. You were dressed exactly like him. Michael threw his hands in the air. And now we know the real Midnight Bandit was running around while you idiots were tackling me. For a moment, nobody spoke. Then all three burst out laughing. The adrenaline still hadn't worn off. The next hour was spent replaying every moment of the chase. The sprinkler incident, Michael slipping, Brent tackling him, the real Midnight Bandit suddenly appearing, the fence jumping, the impossible speed. Eventually, Michael checked his phone. His eyes widened. Oh no. What? Brent asked. It's 4 a.m. Aaron looked at the clock. Sure enough, it was almost 4 o'clock a.m. My parents are going to kill me. Michael grabbed his backpack and headed for the door. If anybody asks, tonight never happened. No promises, Aaron said. Michael shook his head. Good night, weirdos. The door closed behind him. Aaron and Brent laughed. A few minutes later, Aaron stretched out on Brent's couch. Brent dropped into his recliner. Neither of them lasted more than 5 minutes before falling asleep. The next morning, Aaron woke up with a stiff neck. Brent was still snoring loudly in his recliner. After grabbing breakfast, they agreed there was only one person they needed to tell: Tristan. Later that afternoon, Aaron and Brent walked into the movie theater. The smell of popcorn filled the lobby. Tristan stood behind the concession stand serving customers. His French braids were tied into a man bun, and the sides of his hair were faded neatly. He looked up and immediately noticed them. What happened? He asked. Aaron grinned. A lot. Tristan raised an eyebrow. You actually stayed out all night? Brent nodded. We chased the midnight bandit. Tristan nearly dropped his popcorn scoop. You what? Aaron quickly told the story, following Michael, the stakeout, the sprinklers, accusing him, the real midnight bandit appearing, the chase, the fence jumping, everything. By the time Aaron finished, Tristan looked completely stunned. You guys accidentally tackled an innocent guy? Yep. And then the real midnight bandit showed up? Yep. And then you lost him? Brent sighed. Yep. Tristan laughed. You two are idiots. Aaron pointed at him. Maybe. But it was awesome. Tristan thought about it. You know, Aaron and Brent looked at him. I'm kind of bored lately. Brent immediately frowned. No. Tristan grinned. If you ever go looking for him again, I'll come with you. Aaron smiled. Seriously? Sure. Brent shook his head. I doubt we'll see him again. Why? Aaron asked. He got spotted. Brent crossed his arms. No way he's dumb enough to come out 2 nights in a row. Tristan nodded. Good point. Just then a voice shouted from across the lobby. Tristan! All three turned. His manager stood near the hallway. You gonna stand there all day? Tristan groaned. Back to work? Aaron and Brent laughed. A little while later, Tristan was busy serving customers. A rude man stormed up to the counter. I've been waiting forever. Tristan forced a smile. What can I get you? The man ordered popcorn. Tristan quickly filled a bucket. The customer snatched it from his hands without even saying thank you. As the man walked away, Tristan glared at his back. You're welcome. The customer ignored him. Tristan sighed. Then he turned to help the next guest. Suddenly, the theater doors opened. His expression immediately changed. Veronica and Celine walked inside. Celine noticed him first. There he is. Tristan smiled. Hey. Celine walked over to the counter. Try smiling. I am smiling. Bigger. Tristan laughed and smiled wider. Veronica couldn't help but smile too. We're here to watch Dating Game. Tristan nodded. Good choice. He pointed at the popcorn machine. You two want popcorn? Veronica looked at him. For a second, she didn't answer. Then she smiled. Maybe. Celine looked back and forth between them. A grin spread across her face. Tristan suddenly felt awkward. Veronica laughed. You look nervous. I'm not nervous. You look nervous. Tristan smiled. Okay, maybe a little. Celine started laughing. A few minutes later, Veronica and Celine headed toward their theater. As they walked away, Veronica glanced back. Tristan was helping another customer. She watched him for a moment. Celine noticed immediately. Oh my gosh. What? You're staring. Veronica looked away. No, I'm not. Yes, you are. Veronica sighed. I never noticed before. Noticed what? Veronica smiled. He's actually kinda cute. Celine burst out laughing. Kinda? And he has a nice body. Celine nearly doubled over laughing. Veronica. What? Take a picture. It'll last longer. Veronica rolled her eyes. Before entering the theater, she looked back one more time. At that exact moment, Tristan looked up. Their eyes met. He smiled. Veronica smiled back and gave a small wave. Tristan waved back. Then Veronica disappeared into the theater with Celine. As the doors closed, Tristan found himself smiling. For once, dealing with rude customers didn't seem so bad. Later on that day, Celine and Veronica came from the theater room after watching Dating Game. Veronica and Celine stepped out of the theater laughing. "That movie was ridiculous," Celine said. Veronica nodded, but her attention seemed to be somewhere else. Celine noticed. "What are you looking for?" Veronica didn't answer. Instead, she smiled. Celine followed her gaze. Across the lobby, Tristan was back behind the concession stand serving customers. Celine immediately grinned. "Oh." Veronica rolled her eyes. "What? You aren't looking for the exit?" Veronica crossed her arms. "No. You're looking at Tristan." Veronica tried not to smile. Celine burst out laughing. "Go talk to him." Veronica hesitated. Then she walked toward the concession stand. Tristan was filling a popcorn bucket when he looked up. The moment he saw Veronica approaching, he smiled. "Hi." "Hi. How'd you like the movie?" Veronica shrugged. "It was okay." "Just okay?" "It wasn't very realistic." Tristan laughed. "I was thinking the same thing." "You were?" "Yeah." Veronica tilted her head. "Why?" Tristan leaned on the counter. "Dating isn't really about games." Veronica laughed. "No. It's about getting to know somebody." Tristan turned fully toward her. "I agree." For a moment, neither of them spoke. They just stared at each other. Then they both started talking at the same time. Both immediately stopped. Both laughed. "You go first," Tristan said. Veronica smiled. "How do you like working here?" Tristan looked around the theater. "I don't." Veronica blinked. "Why not?" Tristan thought for a second. "I'd rather tell you over dinner and a movie." Veronica's eyes widened. Her cheeks immediately turned red. Celine, watching from across the lobby, nearly choked, trying not to laugh. "Did..." Veronica stuttered. "Did you just ask me out?" Tristan smiled. "Maybe." Veronica laughed. "Maybe?" "Okay, yes." Veronica couldn't stop smiling. "Where are we going?" Tristan nodded seriously. "I know a really nice place." "Where?" "The movie theater." Veronica burst out laughing. Tristan laughed too. "I'm kidding. You're terrible." "I know." Tristan suddenly snapped his fingers. "Oh. What?" "I almost forgot." "What?" "I lost my phone a while back." Veronica looked confused. "So?" "I'm putting my contacts back in." Veronica immediately understood. A smile spread across her face. "And?" "I'm gonna need your number." Veronica handed him her phone. Tristan quickly entered his number. A second later, he handed it back. "Nope." Veronica blinked. "What?" Tristan grinned. He gently slipped her phone into her jacket pocket. "There." Veronica laughed. "You're weird." "That's fair." For a moment, neither said anything. Then Veronica smiled. "You smell like popcorn." Tristan looked down at himself. "I work in a popcorn factory." "This isn't a factory." "Close enough." They both laughed. Finally, Tristan glanced toward the growing line of customers. "I should probably get back to work." Veronica nodded. "You probably should." "I'll text you." "When?" "Friday." Veronica smiled. "I'll be waiting." Veronica practically floated back over to Celine. Celine immediately noticed. "Oh my gosh." "What?" "You look happy." Veronica giggled. Celine's eyes widened. "Wait." Veronica nodded. "We're going on a date." Celine screamed. A nearby customer jumped. Veronica laughed. "Keep your voice down." Celine wrapped an arm around her. "No." They both laughed all the way out of the theater. Back at the concession stand, Tristan watched them leave. A smile remained on his face. For the first time all day, he was actually happy. Later that night, on the opposite side of town, dogs barked in the distance. A dark figure suddenly vaulted over a fence. A black backpack bounced against his back. The Midnight Bandit. He landed smoothly and immediately began running down the street. The neighborhood was silent. Then, a blinding light hit him. The Midnight Bandit froze. A voice echoed through the darkness. "I've been watching you." The bandit slowly turned. The light remained fixed on him. "I've been tracking your timing." A figure stepped forward. "And tonight I finally got you." The person lowered the flashlight. The Midnight Bandit's eyes widened. "Jaden." Jaden pointed a weapon toward him. "Don't move." The Midnight Bandit slowly raised his hands. "Move and I'll shoot." Jaden cautiously approached, but as he got closer, the Midnight Bandit noticed something. The weapon wasn't a gun. It was a stun gun. The Midnight Bandit's eyes narrowed. Suddenly, whack! He slapped it from Jaden's hand. The stun gun skidded across the alley. The Midnight Bandit spun around and ran. Jaden charged after him. The bandit grabbed a fence and started climbing. Jaden grabbed his leg. "Stop!" The Midnight Bandit kicked free. Both crashed into a pile of trash cans. Metal clanged loudly through the alley. The two wrestled across the pavement. Jaden couldn't believe it. The guy was unbelievably strong. The Midnight Bandit shoved him backward. Jaden slammed into a chain-link fence. The stun gun lay nearby. The Midnight Bandit turned toward another fence. Jaden grabbed the stun gun. "Don't move!" The Midnight Bandit stopped. Jaden stood breathing heavily. "Take off the mask." The Midnight Bandit remained silent. "Now!" Slowly, the bandit reached for his mask, but the second Jaden stepped forward, the Midnight Bandit attacked again. Both hit the ground. They rolled through puddles, punches, shoves, grabs. Finally, the Midnight Bandit roared, "Back off!" The alley suddenly became silent. Jaden froze. His eyes widened. He knew that voice. "No." The Midnight Bandit realized what had happened. Jaden stared at him. "I know who you are." Slowly, the Midnight Bandit removed his mask. Jaden couldn't believe what he was seeing. The hood fell back. The face was finally revealed. Jaden stared in complete shock. "Tristan?" The Midnight Bandit looked directly at him, and for the first time, neither of them said a word.